Hello, welcome to Knock on the Coffin Lid. This is a video sponsored by Red Boon Games, the studio behind Knock on the Coffin Lid, which is a roguelike game heavily inspired by Slay the Spire, with some interesting twists going on, which released on August 8th, which as of today was 2 days ago. So it's been in early access for a while, and I've received quite a lot of suggestions that I check it out. But it's just full released, and now I actually am. I can skip the tutorial, which I'm going to do, and we'll get into the game itself. So the game does a very direct job of dealing with the roguelike mechanic, where you know, when you die, you go back to the start and start again with nothing, by putting you in a time loop. So that's what we're establishing in this little cutscene. I am in one of those coffins. I believe it's 4 coffins for 4 characters in the game, but you only start with one of them unlocked. I'm just gonna play on normal difficulty. On hardcore difficulty, actually. I played a lot of terrible difficulty, and like the game really does kill you. Like, it really is unfair. You are not going to get far now without probably already having prior knowledge of what to do.
What are you interested in the most right now?
Where are we?
Somewhere between the elven fortifications and the heathlands, in the tomb of Ingvar.
Ingvar?
What happened to him?
Ingvar is dead.
The wine you brought on the trip was poisoned. Ingvar, Venadis, Bjorn, they're all dead.
Go on and tell me, why should I believe you?
It's easy to see I'm telling the truth because their coffins are next to yours. You all died. I've brought you back to life. You're welcome.
Maybe you don't play as the other people in the coffins.
Was it you?
I'm not sure.
Me?
No, I think you do.
Why would I kill you? Only
I didn't
to
get that
resurrect
far,
you?
though.
Who are you anyway? And what do you want from me?
You may call me Mortis. You don't owe me anything. Just go home.
Not so fast. Do you know who poisoned the wine? How much time has passed? And if Ingvar's dead, then who is ruling the Northern Gate?
Too many questions, Percival.
Does that surprise you? Why did you bring me back? What about the others?
All in good time. I'll tell you when we meet again.
I'll figure things out on my own. I'm not so sure I want to meet you again.
I believe we are poisoned
I'm afraid
by the wine
this
again.
is inevitable. Safe journeys.
We sure are back again.
My head. Damn it. What the hell is going on here?
Every time you die, you come back here. I could have told you from the start, but I wanted it to be a surprise.
Well, I suppose it's better than eternal oblivion. Go on. Are there any more surprises?
You've moved back, not in space, but in time. Everything that happened after your resurrection hasn't happened yet.
So what now? Should I start over? You
Are we
promised
seriously still
to
drinking that wine?
All right, one thing at a time. Tell me everything you remember.
So, yeah, the game kind of tackles the fact that it's very hard to make a roguelike with a narrative.
So I set out, feeling a vague anxiety, confused and discouraged. I couldn't even imagine how much things had changed, and I had no idea of the dangers that were awaiting me.
You're a warrior. You're used to dangers. Don't blame me. Any story must have an element of surprise in it.
So, This is basically Act 1 of Slay the Spire run, kinda. We have hallway fights. We do have elites on the map, but they are unknown events. And then we have just regular unknown events. We have campfires to rest at, stores to shop at, treasure chests to get treasure out of, and a shrine, which is like kind of a unique lore, I guess. I have gone to it. It lets you do some stuff. I don't actually want to tell you what it does. I'll let you play the game and find out yourself, I guess, if you feel so inclined. But the way that this game tackles the narrative dissonance of, like, you are playing around a spire, you die, you go back to the bottom of the floor and start again knowing nothing. In Spire, it's like, okay, you're in a resurrection loop with a whale. Every time you die, like, the spire basically rebuilds itself, and so you're back at the start, you're the same character, but now you are trying to climb the spire, and it's slightly different. In this game, the idea is that every time we play, we actually find out more about, like, the events. So if I go to this event right now, I will know what it is permanently. Kind of like meta progression. So, this is all probably very familiar to somebody who's played Slay the Spire. Here's us, 74 health. A lot of the attributes are very similar to something in Slay the Spire. Some of them are a bit different. Definitely like a bit different. There's clear inspiration from Slay the Spire to this game in terms of tactical combat, but like armor, for example, is just straight up plated armor, I believe. At end of turn, gain 1 block per each armor. Upon taking health damage from attacks, lose 1 armor. That's just straight plated armor from Slay the Spire. And strength is just straight strength from Slay the Spire. But there are many other things which are like a little bit different or completely different, or different in execution. My character is versatile. This is like my starter trait. So at the start of the battle, I gain 5 armor, and if no HP damage was taken in the previous turn, I get 2 strength at the start of the turn. And I believe... Okay, here's where I haven't actually gotten far enough to tell you for sure, but I believe the game has 4 characters, and each of the 4 characters has 4 different possible starter traits. So I'm starting as versatile, and in another run, I might start as this character, but be greedy, or something like that, and I'd have a different starter trait instead of being versatile. So a decent amount of... Can I show you also the... I'm not sure I remember how to show you the, like... There are something like 1,000 cards in the game as well. So there's a decent amount of different stuff. You get started off with a versatile ironclad adjacent sort of character, and a good number of these cards feel like they translate pretty directly to ironclad and Slay the Spire, but the card pool overall is different. And like this looks a lot like Spot Weakness. This is like kind of similar to Bash, but obviously with numbers significantly different. Exposed is the same as Vulnerable. Drain the Juices. I hadn't seen this one before. This upgrade doubles the numbers. It's kind of a lot. I think there are better ways to restore health. Probably? I'm not actually sure. Let's try it. Let's try Drain the Juices. I haven't taken this card before. I've only played like
So
few
you
hours
listened
of the
to
game.
my advice and went home?
I went to Sigismund, Ingvar's younger brother and the heir to the throne.
To what end?
What do you mean, to what end? First of all, to figure out what to do. I wanted to tell Sigismund everything I knew and to hear everything he knew. I wanted to confer with him and put together a plan for the future. I was certain that he wouldn't let Ingvar's death go unpunished.
We both have much to find out.
The farther I went, the more reasons I found for meeting with Sigismund.
Let's start from the beginning.
So, the narrative device here is I have resurrected here, and the game thinks I've already played this run, basically. And as we go through the run, we're having a conversation, presumably the next time that we resurrect here, telling our vampire friend, I guess I don't actually know for sure that it's a vampire friend. Some sort of undead, maybe a lich, I don't know. All of the things that happened on this run. So as we go through a floor, we like have a little dialogue about what the floor was. First had me exhausted and I sat down to rest on the roadside. I was powerfully thirsty. I saw a roadside puddle beside me, nearly dried up. There was still enough to take a few meager sips of sustaining, muddy, greenish, odorous moisture. So playing on the other save, I tried giving in and drinking here. It healed me a bit, and I think it cursed me, and then I got attacked by someone. I want to try don't drink this time. We lost 14 health. My squeamishness overcame thirst, and I went ahead. Alright. So, with that option, we take 14 damage. So, we still don't know what the other option of the event was, but we now permanently know that this event in this act, it's like node locked to be a powerful thirst. And I think, is it here? Hold on, it's here, right? This is now visible in our character's encyclopedia. I can also show you the cards, which like, this is all starting out reasonable, and then you find out that there are 52 pages of this, with 18 cards per page. I believe that's about 1,000 cards total. Some of the cards have multiple upgrade paths, so it might be a few fewer than it seemed at first, but yeah, it's a lot of cards. We're actually having the same fight as the first time. I don't know the exact inner workings of the game with regards to like how the fight pools happen and stuff. I think what happens is we do like 3 easy fights and then some hard hallway fights though. And events seem to be tied to fights sometimes, but not other times. That's actually the first time I've seen like fighting 2 of the same enemy in a row though. Header. So this is just Headbutt from Slay the Spire. Oh, except it upgrades differently. Yeah, a lot of the time it feels like the game takes deliberate inspiration from Slay the Spire. Even in marketing materials, they're like, we were really inspired by Slay the Spire. We wanted to make our take on that sort of game. So yeah, a lot of the time things feel familiar from Slay the Spire, but there's generally some change going on. I don't think there are any cards I've seen so far that are direct one-to-one translations from Slay the Spire, both unupgraded and upgraded. Draw a random skill, it becomes ethereal, and it has to be burned. Ethereal means the same as in Slay the Spire. Burn means exhaust. Draw a random skill. It becomes ethereal and has to be burned. I don't actually know what has to be burned is. One of the slightly challenging things about the game is that I think the studio it's made by is not developing it in English primarily. I guess I'm not 100% sure of that, but like some of the translation, some of the verbiage on the cards is a little bit unclear to me as an English speaker at times. Notch. Exhaust deals 4 damage and gains a strength, or we can just deal 1 damage and gain 4 damage and gain 1 strength all the time if we upgrade it. I think with our character, if we take no damage, we get 2 strength like every turn. So I think for us, the cards which gain us a strength are a little bit less important. Maybe I'll try out a header. I'll probably have some sort of good card to refresh repeatedly. So I don't think I mentioned this, but my like pathfinding algorithm here is I'm just going to the northeasternmost node available to me all the time. Because eventually I'm going to, you may notice like I am being funneled a certain direction. The arrows between the nodes only go a certain way. Eventually I'm going to either reach this boss at the end of the act or this boss at the end of the act. It looks like I'm already locked out of going to this boss by the path that I've chosen so far. But Act 1 has 2 potential bosses at the end of it, and I can go to either one depending on my pathing decisions through Act 1. But yeah, mostly I'm just interested in exploring what the events are and getting an idea for it and everything, so I'm just gonna do that instead of anything else. Fun fact! But dwarves and elves are busy fighting each other, they're too busy. When dwarves and elves are busy fighting each other, they're too busy to attack me. Sometimes they even ask me to help. One day I came across dwarves who were trying to topple an elven idol. They calmly invited me to join them and give a good heave-ho. I thought the dwarves worship the primordial spirits, the same as the elves. They do, but on the same way. Have you ever seen a dwarf druid, or maybe a shaman, a priest? Religious fanaticism is not inherent in dwarves. It is much more important for them to destroy everything, to get rid of the traces of the elven presence in the frontier. Even if the elves return here, they will have to start all over again. But building a house, or even a fortress, is much easier than installing a consecrated idol. Oh, I wonder what's involved in installing a consecrated idol. Where did such hatred for everything elvish come from? There is no hatred, there is just exhausted patience, but it's a long story. Oh, I know this story. Those assholes live inside their thundering mountain, but the surrounding lands are empty. Why can't elves settle there? They put up with the elves for a long time, but you forget about the humans who lived north of the frontier in the heathlands. Strictly speaking, this is also dwarven territory, but with time, there were more and more humans there, and do you know why? Ingvar allowed them to settle there. His death caused grave consequences for all those whom he took care of in life. I wonder if Ingvar is a dwarf. I don't know. This is a fun thing about how the game does narrative exposition. A lot of this stuff, as the player, you don't know it yet. Like, you just find it out through the events as you go to them. Do I want to help the elves or the dwarves? I think I want to help the dwarves, since the dwarves are the ones here. just being very practical about it. Oh, it's a fight. I'm not sure if you noticed, but up here for a second there was like a dark worm versus a light worm or something fighting each other, which I assume is some sort of karma meter, which affects how events resolve for you or something, but I don't actually know. We don't have time to knock the idol to the ground. We had to abruptly stop when an angry bear rushed at us. It jumped out of nowhere. The forest spirit summoned him to protect the idol. Are you surprised? Idols are not just idols, but vessels of the divine will, endowed with the power to both reward and punish. I understood that it was dangerous, but had I refused to help, it wouldn't have let me go in peace. So I'm guessing this was like an elite fight event. So probably there is no way to go through that event without ending up in some form of elite fight. What is this saying? Self-preservation. When severely wounded, changes intention to defense. Increased when playing 2 cards of the same type in a row. If greater than 2, changes intention to natural protection. Under the cover of woods. Changes intention to natural protection. Oh, I don't know what that is yet, but I guess at some point we'll find out. It has 2 strength, it has 3 evasion, completely evades the next instance of attack. It deals HP damage. I'm going to guess that natural protection is not a thing that I want this enemy to be doing. So what this is saying is, like, don't play 3 attacks in a row. Go attack, skill attack instead. So I'm going to go double blow to get rid of 2 of the stacks of evasion, which are kind of like buffer stacks, except only applies to attack damage. And then I'll play my only skill in hand. And then I will play header to put my double blow on top again. I've just noticed I have allies in this fight. Cool. Gains 1 Fury when playing 2 cards of the same type in a row once per turn. So gains 1 Fury when playing 2 cards of the same type in a row. So they don't have cards. There are some games where you can get a party full of allies and all the allies also have decks. That's not what's going on here. They're like kind of like defects orbs inside the Spire where they do a set thing every turn. But not in such a confusing way. Confusing? Confusing is the wrong word. Like not in quite as much detail. What is this? Inner Beast gains strength when playing skills. So now when I play skills this turn, it's going to get strength. I think I'm still okay with playing a guard. Oh, it gained 2 strength. Is that right? I thought that was going to be enough for me to full block, but it clearly was not. Oh well. Oh, is it even attacking me? Oh, it's not even attacking me. I should have checked that first. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. I can mouse over it to see what's attacking. It's going after the middle dwarf. Alright, so with the help of the dwarves, this fight looks very manageable. I'm gonna keep on going. Attack, skill attack. I didn't talk about, I guess, my starter deck. It's like pretty similar to a starter deck in Slay the Spire. I think we have 4 lunges, 4 guards, and armor, which costs 2 and gives me 2 more armor. Again, armor is the plated armor mechanic. And then a double blow, which is like a twin strike in Slay the Spire, basically. And I think the game deliberately has easier ways through fights. So like, this feels significantly easier than it might be if I decided to fight the dwarves. Although I don't know, maybe if I fought the dwarves,
Did you decide to have a rest?
did I decide to have a rest? Well, I'm trying my best. I think I'm gonna keep on doing the attack skill attack, even though it gains 2 strength every time I play a skill. It seems right to stop it from playing natural preservation. Oh, but now it's low, so it's changing intention to defense every turn as we hit it. Looks like, as long as I don't make it change its intention, is it dead here? Not quite. Very close. I think I changed the defense again because it was very low. And at this point with 12 strength, I can easily win the fight. Nice. Alright, cool. Okay, so we have an item. I haven't talked about items yet. The game is not... Like, Slay the Spire feels like it's knife edge balanced around playing one run and trying to win one run. And this game is not that purposefully. It's like balanced around playing a run you probably won't win, but you will find out what's in the map as you do so, and then the next time it will be easier because you'll understand what's in the map. And there's some stuff in here that is quite run warping, where like whether you get a really strong item or not can make a huge difference to how far you get. Which doesn't really feel like unfair to me because I am not playing expecting to get far. Like, I'm playing with an expectation that I die at some point after finding out some more stuff about events. And the game's content, as it were, feels like it's set up so that you can play like that for like 20 plus hours. Like, you can get your money's worth by playing this game, going through the narrative slowly, trial and erroring your way through events until you find a path to Act 2 and then again to Act 3. Yeah, you can do that for a while before you even have to start thinking about replayability in a like pure roguelike sort of sense. So some of these items are really strong. Some of them give special advantages to your class. Some of the items are less relevant. This one looks pretty good. Increase maximum health by 20 every second time a skill is played, gain 1 strength. We will take it. And this is like equipment, so I actually have equipment slots on my character.
The dwarves attacked the frontier. Well, it's no wonder.
I will not be able to equip other armor. That's my armor right now, and if I find other armor, I can discard the armor that I have. Or sell it, or
They've
take it
always
off or
considered
something,
that the land belonged
and
to
equip the
them
other armor
and
instead.
dreamed of purifying it of the elves. Only Lord Ingvar managed to restrain their aggression.
Ingvar tried to maintain peace, but alas, he was poisoned. And his
Loss.
younger brother and heir Sigismund has done nothing to prevent the bloodshed.
Alright, so we successfully got through Down with Idols. Dwarves are trying to bring down an elven idol, regardless of the danger they may pose. I should be able to show you here. Here's my equipment page, and so I now have armor. This is giving me a combat stance card in my deck. Increase agility by 5 until changing the stats. Increase strength by 5 until changing the stats. I don't know what a stat is. We'll probably find out when we play the card. But agility is basically dexterity's analog, and strength is strength from Slay the Spire. I came, I saw, I took. I don't remember who said that. Found a chest. It had some gold in it. Another item. So I do already have a sword. My sword right now is what's putting double blow in my deck, but it doesn't do anything else for me. So if the swords are good, we could take those and replace the current sword. At the start of the turn, gain either 1 evasion or 4 bleeding. At the start of turn, lose 1 HP per bleeding. Completely evade the next instance of attack if it deals HP damage. Wait a second. Do I gain the bleeding or do they gain the bleeding? Because it reads like I gain the bleeding. Do I get to choose? Attributes gain 2 strength and 1 evasion. Both of them put backstabs in my deck. Backstabs cost 2, burn, deal 10 damage, reset the cost of attacks in a hand to 0 before use. So I think what that says is like I spend 2 on backstab and then I can play all the other attacks in my hand. There's also Trickster's Hat. At the start of the turn, lose 1 strength and gain 1 agility. So it's like losing strength every turn but gaining dexterity. My deck seems like it's based around dealing damage with attacks, so I don't think that's an item for me. I guess I'm curious how the sharp dagger works, so I'll take the sharp dagger, and we will see. If it does in fact make me bleed half the time, it's not a great item, probably. But maybe it makes the enemies bleed half the time. I could not avoid meeting an angry man-eating bear. It had grown an enormous belly by devouring unburied corpses on the battlefields. I stumbled upon its den, and it turned out that the owner was home. It was too late to retreat. Alright, so this event is just an elite battle. And this looks like the enemy that I just fought, except I don't have 2 allies this time. When severely wounded, change intention to defend. Oh, but also this one doesn't have the thing where it's going to switch. Oh, okay, that's a thing that it gains on turn 1. So on turn 1... Oh, by the way, am I bleeding? What does it say? Gain either 1 evasion or 4 bleeding. I'm not bleeding, I have gained 1 evasion. So next turn, it will start gaining a strength every time I play skills. This time I am bleeding. Okay, so it's 50-50. I don't know if that's predictable or not. This is a weird turn because it's going to change to... Oh no! It doesn't have the thing where it changes its intention to defend if I play the same card 3 times in a row or whatever. Or was it twice in a row? I don't know. This one's slightly different from the last one is what I'm saying. Reading the enemy explains the enemy, I suppose. I will just hit it. And because I have evasion from my weapon, I should gain 2 strength still. Is that correct? If no HP damage was taken the previous turn, I gain 2 strength at the start of the turn. Oh no, I'm bleeding again. Looks like bleeding is a poison analog, so it is ticking down by 1 every turn. This is a skill, so unfortunately that'll give it strength. I'm playing it select one of the effects. Alright, so I'm going to use this to gain strength. The enemy has also gained strength, and I don't have evade this time, so I will take a hit. Oh, I rolled bleed again? Okay, so I found out that it doesn't alternate, and also that I am very bad at rolling evade off of it. Seemed like it was worth playing a defend that turn. Is it that? Got it. Alright, elite fight down. Proficiency, draw until there are 6 cards in hand. Upgrades to cost 0. Cool. Sleeve trick. Burn. Draw a random attack card, cost 0 for the turn. Or upgrades to cost 0 as well. Chaos. Burn a random card in hand, cost 0 until the end of the battle. Or upgrades to cost 0. Again, this one's a madness kind of a card. And then these are kind of like the Infernal Blade types of Well, this one's kind of like the Infernal Blade thing, except different or the same. I think that one actually is just Infernal Blade, but I think the ones that were skills were not exactly the same. I don't know. The cards have lots of similarities and some differences. Proficiency feels okay. I think I'm just gonna skip here though. Unless I could upgrade proficiency, maybe. Proficiency looks like it would be a very good card upgraded. I'm a sucker for card draw. We'll go for some card draw. Alright, swords or armors. I already have an armor and a sword, unfortunately. Troll leather armor increases max HP by 20 and gains 5 balm. Balm heals me every turn for 5. So that's both very strong and somewhat degenerate. As an item, this makes it so I'm inclined to try to stall really long and easy fights to full heal. Robber's Knife. Gain 10 gold upon dealing health damage with an attack once per turn. It gives me backstab and pickpocket. 2 pickpockets, deal 9 damage, gain 9 gold. Alright, so this is a way to get a bunch of gold. This item also belongs to a set. So we have... What set is this? Can I see? I don't know. I guess it's the Robbers set, probably. It looks like it's the Sword of Weakness set, but that's just the title of the next item. Anyway, if we find more items from the set, we get more and more extra bonus. So if we had 2 of them, whenever you gain gold during a battle, you draw a card. If we had 3, for every 3 cards played, gain a strength. If we had 4, when visiting a vendor, gain 500 gold and 3 random potions. And if we had 5, at the start of the turn, reset the cost of cards in hand to 0 before use. Okay, so if you can put together a set of 5 items, it seems very strong. I thought at first playing the game, like, maybe the items are locked. Like, you always get the same rewards from every node, and so you can learn kind of how to navigate through the map to build a set of all the same items and win that way. It doesn't seem, though, that that's the case. It seems like other than the events, which always have the same event in them, like the rewards for the events are different, and then in the floors that aren't events, like, everything's different every time, so I don't really know how you successfully get a set of 5 of the same item. It seems hard. Sword of Weakness. When dealing damage to HP, inflict 1 weakness. Deal 8 damage, the target has weakness, deal 24 damage and have weakness. Actually seems really good. So weakness, I believe, halves the damage enemies deal. Oh, and we got a bear paw. Attributes, if health is less than 50% at the start of turn, gain 25 block and 1 barbed. Because lose 1 HP per barbed. Wow. Okay, that seems incredibly strong. We got some strong stuff going on now.
Being afraid of people, they keep attacking me. That's not normal, although I've already seen such behavior before.
The frontier is at war. Uncollected corpses become food for predators and scavengers.
I am not sure how nuanced the logic is in the story revealing itself to you. But it sure feels like my character just talked about the fact that we had been attacked by a bear before, while talking about how we got attacked by a bear that time.
The animals have tried human flesh,
Kinda cool.
and they liked it.
Oh no. What's the... What show is that? Like Arrested Development? It's tasted mammal blood or something?
Oh, I see. They view me as a tasty 2-legged snack.
Well, you're rather well fed, not too big, and completely alone.
Alright. Anyway. Oh, did I equip my stuff? We got another chest here. Oh, there's more. I want to make sure. So I wanted to put the Sword of Weakness on and take off the Sword of making me bleed to death, because that didn't seem as good. We now have the Bear Paw. I think this is called a trophy. This item slot is their trophy slot. Yeah. I do not want to destroy the trophy. It looks like you can't trade trophies though. Once you have one, to take it off destroys it. Whereas I can take that off and put it back on if I want. This one's like a locked relic where you can only have one. The lance. At the start of turn, draw 2 jabs. Jab is a 0. It's basically a shiv. And it puts piercing strike, deal 20 piercing damage, inflict 3 breach. I don't actually know what piercing damage and breach are. And I think maybe a slight UI oversight is I can't highlight them from this interface. So I'm just not going to know for now. Boots of weakness. At the start of battle, inflict 4 weakness on all enemies. Or Worm's Head. Gain 3 barbed when taking damage, inflict bleeding. Start of turn, lose 1 HP per bleeding. Attackers lose 1 HP per barbed. So this makes it so if they hit me, they take a lot of damage. Do I already have a hat? I don't have a hat yet. Maybe we just take the hat. My character model also changes as I equip things. Kinda cool. Intimidating party of dwarves rode out towards me on war steeds. Their appearance was vaguely reminiscent of something. Something I seemed to have already seen before, but I couldn't remember what it was or where I saw it. Oh, we're just fighting. Okay. We'll do a little fight then. So you can see I have my hat on, I have my armor, I've got my sword of weakness, and my basic starter shield. I still have no shoes. Feels bad. What do these do? Gains 1 Fury when playing 2 cards of the same type in a row once per turn. Again. So against these enemies, I very much do not want to play the same card 3 times in a row. However, might be okay this turn because none of them are attacking me. We're getting a free turn, basically, here. Okay, I'll start with 2 strength. I believe stuff starting with 2 strength is because I'm playing on hard difficulty. 3rd out of 4, I forget what it's actually called. So Fury, if I remember right, doubles the damage from their attacks, but I'm not sure if it wears off at end of turn or if it wears off the first time they attack. I think I would prefer not to give them Fury. So I'm gonna go lunge here. Combat stance is going to be damage. And then lunge again. So this one's weak, so it's dealing much less damage. Deals damage and inflicts exposed. That's gonna make me vulnerable. It's awkward. I think we just kill this, probably. And I can use Header to put my draw pile back up to 5 so I don't reshuffle next turn and have no room for weakness in my next hand, which will deal a good chunk more damage.
Ocean of blood.
They are gaining taunt and gaining strength. 1-man army. If the enemy is the last of the squad, his strength is doubled. Oh. Okay, so maybe we want to kill the veteran warrior now, and then we'll kill the veteran provoker last. Whoops. No room for weakness is less good. I have no other attacks in hand. We can actually gain some armor this turn, I think. This is gaining taunt, which means I will have to attack it next turn. I still probably want to kill the veteran warrior next, though. We just won't do a very good job of dealing damage next turn. Why did they both take 1 damage there? I'm not sure. Only taunted enemies may be targeted. I think that's for 2 turns. And then we're getting attacked by this for 21. Unfortunately, I can't weaken it because I can't target it. So we're getting kind of low here. I had a status put in my deck there. I'm now wounded. Oh, but because I'm at less than 50% HP, I get 25 block and gain a bar at the start of turn. So I've, like, turned into angry mode. Still taunt here, so still have to kill this one. Oh, it died. I don't... Why am I making it bleed? If Barb deals damage to HP, inflict 1 bleeding. Okay. Okay, I understand. So I'm getting barbed. I have 5 barbed, so I kind of have 5 thorns, and then every time it does something, I... inflict bleed on enemies. Shit on the fight, and then we can go to a boss fight. Cleansing. Burn 2 random status cards in the draw pile and draw 2. Oh, that seems pretty good. I have no problem with taking one of those. Grudge is a talent. That's like a power inside the Spire. Upon taking health damage, gain 1 strength. So that's comparable to Rupture, kind of. Although Rupture is quite different. And then the upgrade on Grudge actually makes it cost 1 instead of 3, which is such a massive upgrade. I'm taking health damage, gain 2 strength. Rupture is only when you deal yourself health damage inside the Spire. So Grudge is like you're gaining strength more easily with it. That said, I think I'm just happy with Cleansing. This card seems pretty sweet. We burn it when we play it and burn 2 random status cards in our draw pile and then draw 2. So we can always play it and draw 2 for 0. Maybe a better shield? At the start of the turn, gain 4 block for each burned card. Okay. Unfortunately, I don't think I burned that many cards. Increase max HP by 10 and gain 2 balms. That's a way to heal. I'm kind of low. When playing 2 attacks in a row, gain 2 strength. When playing a skill, the strength bonus is removed. Gain 2 balms. Puts a heavy damage and a crushing blow into my deck. Some pretty big attacks. There's a way to get more strength, but if I ever play a skill, I lose all of my strength immediately. Let's just go for the shield since I'm still on the starter shield. That seems reasonable to me. And I can keep my bear paw, or I can switch to Dwarven Gronk. Get 30% better prices for selling gear. And this is, I think this is the mountain set. If I have 2 of them, at start of battle, gain 1 armor per 100 gold. If I have 3 of them, when taking damage without losing HP, deal 1 damage to the attacker per 2 block. This is like the barricade set, basically. At the end of enemy's turn, restore HP at the expense of block. The end of enemy's turn, restore HP at the expense of block. So I guess if I'm like missing 15 health but have 15 block left over, at end of turn I will heal 15 and lose all the block. Set 5. Upon using any potion, gain 5 strength until the end of the game. Cool. I don't think I'm going to give up on my bear paw, which seems very strong, to try to go for a mountain set that I'm realistically not going to get. So we'll do with the bear paw instead. Oh, and we're forging. Okay. Sometimes the game doesn't quite explain to you what's happening, and you're like, "What's happening?" But I'm getting an upgrade from winning the fight, I guess. As part of the fight rewards, I get an upgrade. So that is nice. What do I want to upgrade? I have no idea. Maybe we upgrade header here. Make it cost 0. Seems like usually I will want to play that card when I draw it. And I got a little bit of card draw in my deck, so having a 0 cost card makes some sense. We got a Witch's Eye, which is a potion. Return a burned card of your choice to hand. Like an exhume card, basically. And we get 1 campfire. Finally, some rest. I can choose... I think I'm going to choose to train instead of rest, since I have the item that makes it so I get very strong if I take 1 more damage. Train is upgrading. I think I get 2 upgrades every time I click on train. Or is that untrue? I think I found a relic that gave me 2 upgrades every time I clicked on train last time I played. Oh, this is cool. I can show off... Guard has different upgrade paths, as does Lunge. So if I click on Lunge to upgrade it, here's how I show you. I can choose 3 different potential upgrades for Lunge. I can deal 9 damage, and damage from lunges is increased by 1 for the rest of the fight. I can deal 10 damage, or I can deal 9 damage and draw a card. Let's try having 1 Flourishing Lunge first. So when I play this card, I will deal 9 damage instead of 8, and I will increase damage from lunges by 1.
I can't remember how
For the
I
rest of the
came
fight.
to the frontier, or how I died.
You were accompanying Ingvar on a peacekeeping mission to the frontier.
She could have just told me the entire time.
The dwarves and the elves were on the verge of war. Only the Lord of the Northern Gate managed to bring them to the negotiating table, but the mysterious demise of your party ruined everything.
Why weren't our bodies returned home?
As the dwarven invasion began, you were buried hastily and with no ceremony. The affairs of the living, as ever, turned out to be more important than the problems of the dead.
Alright, we have reached the end of Act 1. Here's the Act 1 boss fight. So if we lose this, we will start back here again, but we will remember what these events are. And then we can choose, like, if we thought these were really good, we can just go to them again, or we can, like, go explore some of the rest of Act 1. We can go find out what the shrine does, for example, something like that. Depending on how our first fight rewards go, we might think, oh, well, those events we got were really good for us last time, so we'll go get those again. Or we might think, oh, actually, this really encourages me to, like, get more of these floors over here, so let's go this way. Right at the very border, I came across another dwarf. He looked harmless, but his appearance turned out to be deceiving. To be exact, the dwarf was indeed unremarkable, but this could not be said about his tame beast. Long story short, the dwarf turned out to be a troll tamer, and I was about to have a close encounter with his pet. And how on earth do dwarves manage to tame these creatures? The carrot and stick method. I was the carrot. Oh no. Alright. This is an Act 1 boss. I do not particularly expect to win this fight, I'll be honest with you. But we'll give it a go. The troll has, when wounded severely, gains fury. Playing 2 attacks in 1 turn changes intention to furiousness. Irascibility is a good word. Starts with 2 strength and 8 balm. And this deals damage and gives 1 ally strength for this turn. So we're just straight up getting attacked for 40. Well, that's kind of a lot. Did anybody say playing 2 attacks in 1 turn changes intention to furiousness? So 1 attack per turn, maybe? I think I'm going to start by gaining 2 armor, actually. And then I will weaken this. So I'm taking a bit less damage this turn. But I recognize that I have just dealt 0 damage to the enemies. And taken a lot of incoming damage. Oh! Oh, I didn't. Oh. Oh, that's kind of wild. You're hitting your ally. Oh. Well, okay then. What happens if I play 2 attacks? You change intention to furious then. Let's find out what that is. What about 1 out of 2 mean? Every second time a skill is played, gain a strength. Oh. That carries over between turns. Okay. Let's go for a flourishing lunge, and maybe I'll 2 attacks in 1 turn changes intention. Alright, sure, let's find out what that is now before it has tons of strength. Furiousness gains fury, so it will deal double damage next turn, I guess. But also, you're also dealing 2 damage. Oh, because when I play 2 cards of the same type in a row, the dwarves always get fury. Volley gains strength and exposed. It's weak, it has fury. It has 2 fury, deals double damage. Wait, can I just always change it to... What if I just always change it to having irascibility? Oh, it didn't work that time. I wonder why not. Playing 2 attacks in 1 turn changes intention to furiousness. I don't know. Because I'm weakening it, though, even when it has the double damage, it's pretty manageable. Does this...
At this point, he's no longer a fighter.
At this point, he's no longer a fighter. I don't know what that means, narrator. Okay, that time... Maybe this only happens once? I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The game also... It released 2 days ago. And before I started recording this, I read a message from the devs about how they're really pleased with how many people are playing. They are getting a lot of bug reports, and like have been working really hard to iron them out. So it's possible that the reason the enemy's not working the way I'm expecting it to is that there's something buggy going on with it. Okay, that time it changed to Furiousness. Did it just say you're terrible? Did I just... I think I might have read Elder Troll as you're terrible for a second. Do one of these, one of these. I guess I should probably have played this a long time ago. I'll gain my 5 strength from combat stats.
How many does that make?
I have received a Steam achievement for defeating a troll while it was furious. Way to go, everyone. And I think the rest of the fight should be pretty easy. This sounds like an easy boss fight. Not bad at all. So I played a good amount of this on terrible difficulty, which results in me like dying the first time I fight anything harder than an easy hallway fight pretty reliably. And I played one other run on hard difficulty, I think this is. And that felt like the easiest boss fight I've had so far. Accumulated force. Playing lunges increases damage by 6 for the first lunge played in the next turn. Playing lunges increases damage by 6 for the first lunge played in the next turn. So this kind of will deal 6 damage every turn. It's a power. It will deal 6 damage every turn if I play a lunge every turn. It's kind of weak when I'm already gaining strength. I think it's probably a good thing that they start you out with a character who innately gains damage, because in roguelikes, usually at the start of a roguelike, the thing you want to do is get better at dealing damage. So starting you on a character whose like vanilla form generates damage on its own is kind of a sensible idea, so that people who aren't familiar with roguelikes have a decent chance to do well in their first run when they're still not sure which cards to take and stuff like that. However, the fact that I innately gain damage over time does make me feel like a lot of these ways to gain damage over time are just kind of silly. Like, why would I need to do this one? I can just innately gain way more damage than that. Gain 2 wound, 25 block. Unplayable is end of turn, take 2 damage. So these are statuses. I don't know if they go on my draw pile or not. This is a lot of block for gaining a few statuses. It's kind of like a power through analog with Slay the Spire, but a bit different. Adrenaline Rush is, I mean, that's just adrenaline from Slay the Spire, pretty much. I think we just take Adrenaline Rush. And I don't know if this is like a boss item or if these are just regular-ish items. That kind of feels like a boss item. Gain 1 energy upon an enemy's death each turn, gain 1 energy and draw 1 extra card. I think that says at the start of fight we gain an energy, and then after one enemy is dead, we start getting an energy and drawing an extra card for the rest of the fight. But I'm not actually sure. That's an example of localization being a little bit confusing. Gain 1 energy at the start of the turn, gain 1 strength, and lose 1 agility. Oh, I want that one. We are very into gaining strength here. Dealing damage, additionally inflict a bleeding. This is another weapon. I already have a pretty good weapon. I think weakening stuff is really strong. I'll go with the Amulet of the Orcs. And I can change my bear paw into shackles. Gain 8 strength if no weapon is in hand. Draw left-hander and right-hander at the start of the turn. I don't know what those are, though. Another UI thing. Wait, did that show me? Or was I mousing over something else? I don't think I want that. My bear paw is already very strong. And also my weapon's very strong. I also get to upgrade a little bit. I'll grab my upgrade on proficiency so I can draw cards without it costing energy. Also get to pick one potion. 36 damage distributed evenly among enemies. Clone and draw a card of your own choice from the draw pile. 4 cards in hand cost 0 until the end of the battle. Yeah, let's do that with some card draw.
As I understand, Sigismund was your friend in your past life.
My only friend. We'd been friends since childhood.
And you had no other friends?
The notables find it hard to hide their arrogance when they talk to commoners. But Sigismund has always been different. Can you imagine? One time he even punched Ingvar when he told me to clear the table.
Are you joking? Did he really punch the Lord of the Northern Gate?
I feel like this is the only since the start, like the very start when it was like this is your first dialogue between you and the NPC. I feel like this is the first dialogue I've had that I remember reading before in my previous playthrough. So yeah, I mean the game has quite a lot of stuff in it. But this is like the going into Act 2 dialogue, I guess.
No, of course not. We were all kids back then.
I managed to slice through the defenses of the dwarves and made it to the Crimson Steps, but awaiting me there were the orcs and the goblins. Compared to them, the dwarves are a very hospitable folk. And now we're in Act 2. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet. I don't want to spoil everything for you, and I feel like this has introduced the game decently well, except for one thing. I want to show you what happens when I die and respawn. So I think I can just click return to crypt anytime and go back to the crypt. When I die, I get some experience. So I have leveled up to level 2 off of just one mission, it looks like. How does that work? 130 times 2 is 440? Can I get some math on that? We have unlocked some cards. Agile, Lunge, and Reinforcing Guard. Go 4 damage, gain 4 agility on the end of turn, gain 4 block, and 2 strength for 1 turn. This is kind of like card unlocks in Slay the Spire. And then we're back. You're understandably upset that upon rebirth you have to start back from square one, but this is not precisely true. Of course, you lose all your acquired skills and equipment, yet there is something even more valuable that remains: knowledge. You will learn your path, your options, what works and what doesn't. Over time, you'll be honed for success, and that's the genius of my plan. When I respawn, I can choose to change my class or difficulty. So I'm pretty sure that if I clicked on these, like at some point these will unlock and it will be other characters. I'm like almost 100% sure. Also, if I get Versatile, who is now level 2 up to level 3, I can play Gold Digger Percival, and then if I get Gold Digger up to level 3, I can play Knight Percival, and if I get Knight up to level 3, I can play Veteran Percival. So these are the different like starting perks that I was talking about, where the starting perk for Versatile is I gain 5 plated armor at the start of fights, and if I take no HP damage in a turn, I gain 2 strength at the start of the next turn. These are my class items. I saw shackles, and I saw bear spirit armor. I did not see dwarven boots. Every second time an attack is played, gain 1 armor. And armor is plated armor, not block, so best not to use this in combat against dwarves. Oh, it's hardcore, not hard, okay. Terrible is, like, you just kind of die straight away. It's very, very hard. But say that I wanted to switch to terrible difficulty, I could. And then we press go. And we get a little, very brief cutscene. And we are back to Act 1 again. And this time we get a whale bonus. This time you already need to expect, so you could prepare a little. Place 5 cards with random cards. Take 100 gold and add a curse to your deck. Remove 2 cards from the deck. Take 1 of the 3 items. I mean, let's go 5 random cards. This seems kind of fun. Let's see some cards. Toughen up. Gain 5 block at the end of each turn. Like a metallicized kind of analog. Trick. Gain 5 block and draw a card. Caution. Gain 10 block and discard a random card. Blood Debt. At the start of the turn, lose 1 HP and draw 1. That's kind of like, I don't remember what the card is called in Slay the Spire, but there's a card kind of like this in Slay the Spire, although it doesn't upgrade to lose 2 HP and draw 2 extra cards. Notch. Go 4 damage, gain 1 strength. We saw that card in Card Awards. I have lost 3 lunges, so that would make it kind of hard to win the fights, presumably.
So it's like I look into the future?
And if you don't like something in the future, you can try and change it.
What I don't like is getting killed for the most part.
That's exactly what I meant, for the most part.
And how long will it last? What do you want from me?
It'll last until I decide you've had enough. Enjoy yourself. Do you have a problem with that? Think about what you want, Percival.
And this time, when I look at the map, we can still see this is a Powerful Thirst, this is Down with Idols, this is Ferocious Bear, and this is Guard Outpost. So these are all the events that we did last time. This time we could choose to go this way. I think this is the same boss fight as last time, but I think this one's different. I think every time you play and you run, the boss fights are like redrawn from a pool of possible boss fights. So you could look at the map and be like, oh, I really don't think my deck works or my character works very well against this boss, so I'll go to the other one, kind of things. This time I start with 50 health because I'm playing on you lose mode, and I mean, that sure feels like you lose, doesn't it? We just walk into the fight and the enemy has 25 block and 5 strength already, and more health than us. The easy hallway fights are doable. I'm sure that this mode is winnable. Like, you probably need a good whale bonus and to really know what you're doing, but yeah, terrible difficulty felt like a challenge for me, for sure, as a new player. Anyway, if this game looks fun to you, check it out. It's a very... I know I've talked a little bit about bugs and localization, but in terms of the graphical styling and the voice acting and the music and the card art, the game in general feels pretty well polished and put together. It's a game that's been through a lengthy early access cycle, so there's been a decent amount of iteration over it, and yeah, it seems like a fun game to play, at least through like the first cycle of the story. I couldn't speak to how much replayability it has after that, but yeah. Thanks for hanging out again. This has been some sponsored content, sponsored today by Red Boom. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you all another time.